Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trek Canon. So today we are going to be talking about, well, what had happened was, and let me adjust this a little bit for you guys. Yeah, so I figured in between videos I would make a video about just some thoughts that I was thinking about. So I'm always talking about canon. I'm always talking about canon when it comes to Star Trek and how things fit together and everything like that. But sometimes I spend a lot of my times doing reviews on things like Star Trek Lower Decks, or reviews on things like, oh God, I gotta say it, they made me say it, Discovery. So I wanted to get back to some of my roots, which is actual conversations about how things fit together in the Trek universe, or in Trek canon. So I figure a good point today would be just some of the episodes that could come to mind about that were linked throughout the series. Sometimes people don't really get, people focus a lot on the characters that may link episodes together, in the same series, but like guest appearances, things of that nature. But a lot of people don't really focus on episodes and storylines that interact in the Trek universe. So one of the most famous versions of that would be Trials and Tribble Actions, and how that links to the Trouble with Tribbles from the original series of Star Trek. Now, there are several other versions throughout Trek canon that are very similar, and if not just as good, maybe not as well done digitally, but that link really well to other series events and things like that. So I wanted to kind of talk about a few of those, and hopefully it'll kind of motivate you guys to go and take a look at them and everything, or give you an insight as to how vast the Trek universe is. But another good one is the Tholian web from the original series. What was going on in the Tholian web basically was that a ship was caught in a temporal field, and it was basically shifting in and out of this temporal field, and the Enterprise rose up on it, and they're basically like, hey, we're gonna see if there's anything we can do. The name of the ship is the Defiant, and basically Kirk gets lost. I ain't gonna tell you what happens, but they get into it with the Tholians. But the ship disappears. Basically, it fully is engulfed into the temporal field. Now, what was really good that happened in Enterprise, in the series Enterprise, was this episode called In a Mirror Darkly Part 1 and 2, where they showed what happened to the ship that disappeared in that episode from the original series of Mock Time. Okay, it was called, In a Mirror Darkly Part 1 and 2, which actually was pretty good. Now, you remember the events of First Contact, where the Borg decided to go back and try to interrupt the events of First Contact. Now, that was a Voyager episode, Year of Hell, where Kim and Torres and those guys were doing the trivia, and they were asked a question that should have ended something like, with the answer being Zephyr Cochrane, and 7 of 9 knew that, and a lot of people were wondering how could 7 of 9 knew that. Well, because of the events of First Contact. Okay, so that's another good one. Now, you have The Naked Time, which is one of the episodes that I covered as far as canon, how important that particular episode was to canon, as being responsible for the introduction of Time Warp into the Star Trek universe. But the linking episode to that was The Naked Now from The Next Generation. It was a first season episode. And can you believe the person who wrote The Naked Time also wrote The Naked Now? So that was a good link between those two episodes, and in there. Now, For those of you who watch Deep Space Nine, and there should be a lot of you because it's growing so much now. I like to take credit for my efforts over the years because when Deep Space Nine first came out, when it first aired, it was a black sheep. It was the black sheep, literally, of the Star Trek franchise. Even Trekkies hadn't watched it. You know what I mean? It didn't really pick up steam until after maybe season 4. Okay, and I believe a lot of you guys have noticed that as watching it, that season 4 itself with the production and the storyline picked up a lot as well. But before then, it wasn't getting a lot of love. Matter of fact, even maybe 5 to 10 years after that, you ask people, hey, you watch Star Trek? Yeah. How do you like Deep Space Nine? Or I never seen it, or I haven't watched that one, but it's getting a lot of love now. But there was, in the episode Blood Oath, there was 3 Klingon diehard masters. I always talk smack about them. It was Koloth, Kor, and Kane. Now, those 3 guys are from 3 different episodes in the original series. You have Errand of Mercy, you have Day of the Dove, and you have Trials and Tribulations. No, The Trouble with Tribbles. Yeah. So you have Errand of Mercy, Day of the Dove, and Trials and damn it. Wait, hold up. The Trouble with Tribbles. So those 3 commanders, those 3 Daha Masters was from 3 different episodes of the original series that all came together in that episode Blood Oath. And as you know, Kor, ends up going, on doing some other good things, man. This. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this because I really just don't see how this happened. But City on the Edge of Forever, which is arguably probably my second, fluctuates between my first and second favorite Star Trek episode ever put to screen. And I think it was Terra Firma from Discovery. Now, it was the Guardian of Forever. He linked those. But the issue I had with that particular episode and why I didn't really like it, of course, because it was Discovery, but I ain't gonna say that, I really gave Discovery a chance, man. I really did. I really, 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 really did. And, they had, like I said, a couple of 3 villains or better turds. But overall, like I said, but I ain't even talking about Discovery. But basically, Carl, or the Guardian, he wasn't supposed to be on that planet. He wasn't supposed to be on that planet. So, him being there was kind of odd to me because he wasn't supposed to be on that planet. By the way, if you guys want to know why Carl wasn't supposed to be on that planet, by all means, let me know in the comments, and I'll hook you up. I will hook you up as to why Carl was not supposed, why the Guardian of Forever was not supposed to have been on that planet in the episode Terra Firma, Part 1 from Discovery. Now, those are some of the ones that come to mind as direct relations. There are some that has to do with, say, like Dr. Nguyen Soon and Data, him with Dr. Nguyen Soon's dad being in Enterprise episodes, and how it directly related how the Soon family decided to switch from biological engineering to cybernetic engineering. So that was cool. We could talk about how in Trials and Tribble-Actions, how they asked Worf, hey man, why does these Klingons look different than you, And he was like, it was something we don't talk about. We could talk about how that episode linked to the Enterprise episode. Oh my God, I forget. How can I forget? Do I have to look at something? I have to look at something. Yeah. How it connected with Afflictions and Divergence from Enterprise. So, yeah, even me, man, sometimes the brother forget. With all the Trek knowledge that I have, sometimes a brother forget. But the good thing is, all I have to do is go back and watch. So, that was just a little video I wanted to cover on just how vast and how intricate the Star Trek universe is, and how not just characters, relate throughout the Star Trek mythos, but how the stories, the villains, the phenomena, how the planets, how they link throughout things as well. Like just like in the other video with Cisco's mom, where I was telling you guys that the planet Tyrell was not only the planet from the planet that Kirk did in the original series, but was also the planet that they featured in the Emissary. So hell, SETI Alpha. They even spoke of SETI Alpha 4, I believe, in the Enterprise episode. I mean, not in Enterprise episode, but in the Discovery episode. So, just how these things tie together. I don't want to just base my channel on, reviews, things I like, and things I don't like, but I like to give you guys information as to, just how great, or just how the Q said, space is not only I'm paraphrasing. He was like, space is not only vast and wonderful, but it has fears and, basically evils, things that make your soul freeze. And as such, since Star Trek takes place in that universe, there are things that we can talk about that are political, things that we could talk about that are economic, things that we can talk about that are social, things that we can talk about that'll give us happiness, that'll make us cry, things that'll make us laugh, okay? Things that shine a spotlight on the evils or the problems of society, humanity, or things like that, or of each other. But at the end of the day, it is how we deal with, overcome, and relate to those things that makes us Trekkies and displays our infinite diversity in infinite combinations. So, as always, be cool. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Ring the bell, and peace. Recycle.